Alabama versus Arizona. I was at that game, and if you watched our live stream before, you saw that Tucker picked Alabama, and I picked Arizona. Now we're both Alabama fans, but I just could not rightfully pick Alabama with how good Arizona is. I mean, they are so talented on both ends of the floor. They're so good, and I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what anyone's opinion is about Michigan being the number one team. Arizona is the number one team in the country, and they deserve their spot. Like, they deserve to be the number one team in the country because they've worked for it, and they have the resume for it. It started out as a great game. I mean, it was a fantastic game. I was there. I was so excited. I was like, okay, Alabama right in this thing at halftime, even up at halftime. And I was just like, okay, this game's going to come down to the wire. Probably going to come down to like last two possessions. Who does what? Who can make the big shots? But if you watched the game, you witnessed one of the worst halves of basketball I've ever seen. Alabama's second half against Arizona was one of the worst halves that I've ever watched. Arizona scored 57 points in the second half. By the way, halftime, it was 41-39 Alabama. They scored 57 points in the second half. Bama only scored 34. Final score, 96-75. It was just really bad. I love Nate Oates. I think Nate Oates is a great coach. One thing I don't understand, I just cannot understand, is why he doesn't call a timeout. They go on, I think they went on a 17-0 run, if I remember correctly. Arizona went on a 17-0 run, and he doesn't call a timeout. What coach does not call a timeout right there? I don't know. I don't understand. Secondly, is the defensive end. It continues to be the struggle for Alabama year after year after year. The last time that Alabama had a good defensive team was when Brandon Miller was on the team 3 years ago. I think that was 2022. And they made it to the Sweet 16 and lost. Maybe, I can't think it was Sweet 16 against San Diego State. But that team was great, and they lost. They didn't make it. They didn't make it where they thought they were going to. And I think that was probably, honestly, I think that was probably Nate Oates' best chance to win a national title was with that team, because that team was just so good. But I don't understand not calling a timeout there, and why are you allowing 57 points? I know Arizona's good, but 57 points and a half is really, really bad. Rebounds is what is continuing to kill Alabama. Let me just give you all the stats here. Offensive rebounds for Arizona compared to Alabama, 22-3. 22-3. That is disgusting. How in the world do you not box out? I have never seen a team so incapable of boxing out in my life. They got out-rebound 52-32 overall. 20 rebounds. Arizona's plus 20 on the rebounding. And literally, this team doesn't box out. They literally just don't box out, and I don't get it. I don't get why Alabama, or most teams, don't even do it. Put a butt in somebody. I know it sounds weird, but that's what you got to do. To box out, you put your butt in them, and you push them out. And if they try to come over you, you know what happens? You get an over-the-back foul. But Alabama just goes, all right, let me just jump up in the air. Let me just jump up. That doesn't work, especially against a team like Arizona. But I'll give it to Arizona because, like I said earlier, they are just a great team. They really are. And like I said, some people might think Michigan's the number one team. Some people might think Duke's the number one team. It is not even close, in my opinion. In my opinion, it is not even close. Arizona has probably the best win of the year, or Iowa State, depending on I could see that. I could debate that. Arizona goes to UConn, beats UConn. Iowa State went to Purdue and just waxed them. But I still think Arizona is the best team in the country, and it's not even close. And my fear going into this game was that Arizona is just too good. and it was true. It just seems like Alabama can't hang with the big dogs. See, when they played Purdue, just couldn't hang in there. Rebounding, killed them again. Play Arizona, you just can't hang in there. You lose again. It's the rebounding over and over and over again. Now, let me talk about Braden Burries for a second. He came out in the second half and he could not miss. He finished with 28 on 11 of 19 and 5 of 10 from three. He was just shooting lights out, and I did not realize he was as good as he is. I was really impressed with his talent and how well he played, because he is a really, really good player. We said one of the keys, if you remember, we said one of the keys to this game was bench points, because we thought that Bama's team was deeper overall. And I still would say that it is. But Bama's bench had 15 points compared to Arizona's 22. And you just can't. If your team is deeper and you're relying on your bench players to get you some points, that's usually kind of how, like, you usually are like, okay, this is where this game can take over. One of the keys to this game is our bench points, because we're such a deep team. But man, everyone struggled on the bench. Keaton Bristow, 3 points. London Jemison, 0. Amari Allen, 5. Noah Williamson, 0. Jalil Bethia, 4. He had 4 in 2 minutes. And Houston Millette, 3. Houston Millette, I know Nate Oates loves him, but he is a very disappointing player to me. He is like the most one-dimensional player I've ever seen. Aiden Holloway, you could tell he was clearly limited. He played, only shot the ball twice, and had 0 points. And if you know Aiden Holloway, you know that's not his game. Like, shooting the ball twice is not his game. Bro likes to chunk up shots. LeBaron Philon is continuing to have a great season. In my opinion, he's looking like a player of the year. Let me read you these stats here. 22 points per game, 4 rebounds per game, 6 assists per game. That is 4th in the nation points per game. He's 150th plus in rebounds, but he's a point guard, and tied 40th for assist. There is not many guards out there who are doing what LeBaron Philon is doing. Latrell Wrightsell also had a great game, but besides LeBaron Philon and Latrell Wrightsell, everyone just looked bad. Besides the first half was great, but it was just them two keeping him in it. They combined for 46 points, 46 of 75. So over half the points LeBaron Philon and Latrell Wrightsell combined for. You got to do better than that. Oh, 45. Sorry, 45 points, but still over half the points. Arizona, though, just too good, man.